Welcome back. The search for answers continues in the LA wildfires as investigators focus on a popular hiking trail in the hills above Pacific Palisades. With that, we say good morning to you. Welcome to Good Day LA at 7 o'clock. I'm Jen Lammers.
I'm Melvin Robert. Thank you for being with us. Miles of charred land and families now left with nothing.
Investigators are combing through clues this morning, and they say a small fireworks incident could be the link to what caused the Palisades fire.
Mario Ramirez is live for us in Brentwood with the latest on the investigation. Mario, good morning to you.
Good morning. As the sun starts to rise over this area, federal authorities will continue searching for answers as to what triggered this deadly fire, looking at every possibility. Now, this here is one of several closures in the area guarded by California National Guard members and local law enforcement. The search for answers into what triggered one of the most destructive California wildfires continues. And take a look at this Skyfox video. We were over part of it yesterday. An urgent investigation into what caused the fire with dozens of federal and local investigators on the case from the ATF, FBI, and LAPD combing through debris, looking at burn patterns and talking to witnesses. While investigators haven't reached any conclusions, their early focus has been on potential human causes like arson, an accidental spark, fireworks, or unauthorized camping activity. We know the ATF has brought in its national response team, which includes fire investigators, forensic chemists, and canine handlers. Back on New Year's Day, fire crews responded to an overnight blaze at a location near Skull Rock. That's a popular hiking destination, and it's very close to where the deadly January 7th fire started. Authorities confirming they're now investigating a possible connection.
There was a small fire right behind this dead end on January 1st at midnight. I was like, that was fireworks. And that was 7 days before January 7th.
It turned into being about a 10-acre fire, and it did burn near the point of origin for the Palisades fire. So even though that is a week apart, there is possibility.
Multiple people have been accused of arson across the region in the last week, but authorities haven't singled anyone out for causing the Palisades fire. Now, this ended up torching more than 23,000 acres and burning thousands of homes. Coming back out here live, these neighborhoods are still under tight security. LA County officials urging residents to prepare for additional power outages and possible evacuations. This fire now at 18% containment, and fire officials say it could be weeks before it's fully contained. Live here in Brentwood, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you very much. That investigation is going to continue. I think, look, many people want answers.
Yeah.
Many people want answers.
Yeah, it just speaks to the danger that our climate has put us in and the changing weather conditions here in Southern California. That, right? Absolutely 100%. It was dry. We had a dry summer. We had a dry start to our winter season. We got barely record. Yes, we had a record hot temperature globally for the Earth again, and it's just, yeah, things have got to change in terms of how we move forward under these weather conditions, especially right now in the season when we're not really seeing a major shift in our pattern and this dry pattern continuing. The winds are continuing, definitely. They have increased in strength and speed in just the last couple of hours. 20-mile-per-hour winds in Fillmore, 30s in Malibu Hills, 18-mile-per-hour winds in Van Nuys. This is part of that area that the National Weather Service has deemed extra critical fire weather conditions. Not so bad here in parts of the LA Basin, out towards Orange County, lighter winds. Ontario has picked up in strength now, just the last half hour, 17 to 20 miles per hour, and it has been consistently breezy there in Big Bear and that drive up to our higher elevations. Temperature-wise, it is chilly. It's 20 degrees in Lancaster now. It was in the teens just an hour ago, so there is that freeze and frost advisory there. 45 in Pasadena, 41 in Burbank, 45 in downtown LA, so grab that hoodie, that sweatshirt for the kids. 27 in Big Bear. Here it is, a freeze warning rather. Lancaster, off the 138 here, Lake Los Angeles. You are waking up to some sub-freezing temperatures, so bundle up if you have to walk out the door now and walk the dog or get out to school or work. 60s along the coast should be the high temperature. 72 for downtown LA. That is above the average of 68. A little less cold air coming in with this northeasterly wind, so it's going to warm up to slightly above the average. Mid-60s for the valleys and the Inland Empire. Remember, red flag warnings will continue through at least this evening for a lot of areas. That means critical fire weather conditions will continue. 45 into the mountains of Big Bear, 63 in the Lancaster area and the high desert, to that 70 degrees in Palm Springs. I'll show you the rest of the forecast in just a few moments. In the meantime, let's head back upstairs. Let's go to Stu and the crew in Sky Fox, watching all kinds of things up there. Right now, a gorgeous sunrise. Stu, thank you.
Hey, good morning, Maria. Good morning, everybody. That sun definitely rising. We're in the Pomona area. That was a 71 off to the right, but the 60 is what got us out here. We heard of an incident out here by the by Chino Valley, and you know what? The only thing we find is those trucks off to the side. No slowing on that 60 either. It's going to be eastbound and westbound through the Pomona area. That 60 freeway. Freeway speeds are better. It's going to be a great drive if the 60 is your drive. Sending it back to y'all in the studio.
All right, Sue, thank you. Now to our news here at 7:04. The Eaton fire is now 45% contained. That's compared to 35% yesterday, so they are making progress there. 14,000 acres have burned.
Let's check in with Gigi Graciette. She is live in Altadena with a couple who lost everything. Gigi.
Jen and Melvin, behind every destroyed house, there is a story. And I happen to know the story of this block, Norwich Village, because this was the home of my friend's parents, John and Chris. Take a look at what's left. Norwich Village, once known as Little Normandy because of the cottages that were built here between 1925 and 1948. You are looking at the home of John and Chris. John is 91. My friend's mother, Chris, is 85. They've lived here on Norwich Place for decades. John's an Army veteran. He worked at JPL for 48 years. And I'm learning this morning that a lot of folks who live in this area of Altadena worked at JPL. He was a professional photographer, and the family estimates he now has lost over 80,000 photos that he had on all of his hard drives, photos of history being made in many cases. He also lost his oxygen machines, his breathing treatment machines. The entire cul-de-sac is gone. I'm going to ask photographer Tony Butita to pan over to the left. Again, this is Norwich Village, once known as Little Normandy. The entire village was designed by architect J. Wilmer Hershey. He's the designer of the Santa Barbara Courthouse and the master plan for the entire community of San Clemente. This block was declared an Altadena Heritage Area on June the 5th, 2005. This block forms part of the 4,627 homes and buildings that have been destroyed, and unfortunately that number is expected to go up. Again, you're looking live at what once was a beautiful home that belonged. It's not easy. To the parents of my friend Denise, her family right now, they know that the whole block has been lost. They've seen a couple of pictures. They don't have an idea, though, of the magnitude of the destruction. They are heartbroken for their parents. Their parents lived here like 40 years. I want to show you this right here. This was a beautiful, well, it still is. It's the only thing that's still standing, the wishing well on the property.
Poetry there.
That is the only thing that is standing. John, a man who proudly served our country in the Army. His wife, Chris, 85 years old. John is 91. Just another look at what once was their home. They actually had a basement. You can see everything has collapsed onto it.
Wow,
and John and Chris lost power. They lost power, and when they were left in the dark, because he depends on oxygen machines and breathing machines, they actually evacuated early. And because of the power being shut off, Mel and Jen, I believe that possibly could have saved their lives because the fire hadn't started yet. So they evacuated because they had no power and they need those medical machines to live. So thankfully they are safe, but they took nothing with them because the fire hadn't started. He would have grabbed those hard drives. 48 years at JPL. Can you imagine the history, the pictures that were on those 80,000 pictures on those hard drives? They have lost absolutely everything, but thank goodness John and Chris are safe with their family right now, and our heart goes out to all the folks. I'm going to ask photographer just to keep panning over there. You can see in the distance, this entire cul-de-sac is gone. It is all gone. Every single home on this block, Norwich Village, is gone this morning, an Altadena Heritage site declared in 2005, and our hearts go out to all the families, to John and Chris and everybody who lived here. We'll send it back.
It's just a catastrophe.
It really is. And I think so beautifully said, behind every piece of devastation, behind every home, behind every business, there is a story. There were people that inhabited those places.
For years and years. And all those photos that he took, gone. Right. This is what the home used to look like?
It's not just your home. We were saying yesterday, you know.
And the wishing well right there.
Jen, like, it's not just a home. It's all your personal memories, your personal history, and that's what it looks like now. It is, it's just awful.
And it's the textures, it's the sights, it's the smells, it's the views, it's everything that you just get so accustomed to after living in a place for so many years like they did.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. My goodness. All right. Well, city and county officials have, throughout all of this, there is still criminal activity in some of these fire zones, believe it or not, just absolutely despicable. And they've arrested multiple people near these wildfire zones for a number of different things.
What is with people? Despicable to do this to other people during this extraordinary time of loss. Brooke Thomas is joining us now with more on this. Hey there, good morning.
Yeah, you know, we actually have about 100 arrests to report on this morning. Arrests for charges of burglary, looting, vandalism, curfew violations in fire zones. The numbers are going up. Actually, 97 people arrested so far, and that breaks down to the Santa Monica Police Department reporting 40 arrests. The LA County Sheriff's deputies say they have arrested 39 people, and the LAPD is reporting 14 arrests. The LA County Sheriff's Department says they've made 2 arrests related to illegal drone incidents. 2 more men in black jumpsuits were arrested near the home of Vice President Kamala Harris for curfew violations. Again, I have to remind you, there is still a curfew in effect nightly from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the mandatory evacuation areas in the Palisades and Eaton fire zones. Only firefighters, utility workers, and law enforcement personnel are allowed in those areas. Meantime, the LA City Council has approved 21 relief measures in response to the devastating wildfires. The LA City Council has approved 21 relief measures in response to the devastating fires. These include disaster assistance centers and housing support. There's a rent freeze and eviction ban that they are discussing at this time. The council, though, has also approved price gouging protections. They're reviewing infrastructure issues, including water pressure failures. There's a bond measure to fund fire station repairs and new facilities in the works. City leaders are also calling for an independent report on the city's wildfire response. Matter of fact, Councilwoman Tracy Park says the goal is to rebuild communities and improve emergency response. So on that note, much more to talk about throughout the morning when it comes to what will happen next and what went wrong. Back to you.
Long road ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thanks, Brooke.